Hello and welcome to our live stream. We're going to be live stream trading the Unity Excel trading model. We're going to be using Excel to take algorithmic trades. We're following a mechanical trading strategy. We are using our Unity Excel trading model to do that. And with me this morning to go through it all is Ren Vallow. How are you today, Ren?
Good morning, Mark. Doing well. Yep, the weather's finally looking a little sunnier. No snow today.
Yeah, well, you've been reporting snow, I think, every day for about the last 3 months, it seems like.
Yeah, we had it seems like since Thanksgiving it's been snowing a lot, but we're finally out of what looks good right now.
Yeah, good. Is there snow on the ground?
There is, yeah. There's
Okay,
snow.
well, still, it's looking up. Yeah, nice
It's
and
not
sunny
coming.
today here as well.
A friend of mine lives on the Eisenhower Way, and we're calling it Glacier Way now because the entire place is like ice.
Oh my goodness.
So, and
Yeah.
then we named it the Eisenhower Glacier.
It was reported in the news that something like the coldest wind chill ever recorded in the world or in North America anyway happened, was it on the weekend?
Yeah,
Somewhere at the
last
top of a
weekend.
mountain somewhere?
Yeah, last weekend I saw the East Coast got some really cold weather. I was like, they're finally getting a little winter over there.
Yeah.
We've been getting that all along.
Yeah.
It's the coldest they've ever seen. You know that groundhog I was telling you about?
Yeah.
It probably froze its butt off.
Yeah, no wonder it predicted a lot more winter.
Yeah.
So anyway, this morning we're having a look at a market. I can't remember if we've done it for a while on one of our live streams, but we're looking at Bitcoin. So we're looking at it on the 1 minute time frame. And for those of you watching both live and on catch up, that is in the top left hand corner of the screen. I'm going to zoom in here. This is the MetaTrader 5 terminal. And I'm going to go on to the terminal here. You can see here, this is the Bitcoin market on the 1 minute time frame. We're using the 1 minute time frame because it helps us to demonstrate the strategy, and hopefully we're going to see some trades. So we're using our mean reversion strategy today, and you can see we're going to be mean reverting, taking trades from the top and the bottom of the envelope in white showing on the screen. These are price channels. So we've been using this mean reversion for a few weeks. We've got another one actually, which we're going to roll out again soon, which is the channel breakouts. But this is
Yep.
almost the opposite. This is the price channel mean reversion. Two big phenomena in the markets, isn't there, Ren? These
Yeah, it's really
trends, which I've been looking at for the past week, it would seem
yeah.
like, and mean reversions.
Yes, and I've been working with the mean reversion for the last, well, about it's been almost a month now, I guess, and
Mm.
really enjoying that strategy. It didn't perform as well last week as it has in the previous weeks, but I still have a lot of faith in it, though. You have
Yeah,
those time periods, yeah.
you did some changes, didn't you? You went on
I
to a higher
did.
time frame.
I did. I went to the 30-minute, and the back tests look really good. They look very similar to what I was seeing on the 5 minute, so I thought I'd give it a shot.
Mm.
The actual trades are bigger. Unfortunately, my first couple of trades on the 30-minute they haven't panned out. So my win rate's not been very good in real life, but that's just how it is sometimes. But I know the back test comes in right around that 65-70% win rate. The trades are larger. So I have faith it'll come around.
Mm, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, you've just highlighted the thing which all of us, it's almost like we could have a big warning flash
Yeah.
up on the screen that we all know it, but we all forget it all the time. Recency bias, tendency to ascribe more importance to recent events than to past events. So, when we've
Yep.
spent all this time designing strategies, building backtest, optimizing it, doing whatever, then we come to trade it. We have a couple of losing trades and we think, forget it.
Right. And it's harder on the longer time frames because you have to wait a much longer time to see how it's going to play out. So on the
Mm.
5 minute time frame, like when things don't go well for a couple hours, you're like, okay, whatever. But on the 30-minute, it can be days. So you're just gotta wait
Yeah.
it out.
That's the thing, because these strategies are fractal. The reason we've theorized, we've talked about it a bit, going up to a slightly larger, still intraday time frame, but going up to a slightly larger time frame is because it increases the chance of increase the size of the average trade.
Right.
So costs are a smaller factor.
Yeah, the costs are a lot smaller factor and the back tests look really good. So I thought this has I gotta give it a shot. So here we are. So
Mm.
this is like week one on the 30-minute one full week's completed. Didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. Didn't get very many trades. I think it was something like 4 trades. So it wasn't very many trades. So it's very early in the process here.
Yeah, well,
And
let's see how it goes. You can always go back to the 5 minute.
yeah,
Just comparing the back test. I've said it, it affects me as much as anybody, recency bias, but going back to the testing that you initially did and seeing what these few trades looks like in the context of the last 100 trades, say.
yeah, it looks like nothing. I mean, yeah, when I look at the last, I did a 50,000 row back test
Wow.
on the 30 minute. Yeah, there are definitely periods of times where the win rate does drop off for a little bit and then comes back again. So I mean, 1 or 2 winning trades will make up the whole week last week. So that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've got a theory about this. We're We've said it a number of times on this live stream. We love the euro US dollar. It trends well. It also mean reverts well. And on these intraday time frame, it may actually be the mean reversion that's more significant. Once you get out to the daily time frame, I think it tends to trend more strongly than it mean reverts. Whereas on these
Yes.
intraday time frames, I think probably the opposite is true.
Yeah, absolutely. In the shorter term time frames, it mean reverts quite a bit. Yeah, there'll be like reactions, and it'll move up, then move right back down again. So it's a
Yeah.
it's a it's a strong mean reverter. Actually, I think it's better than, yeah, like you said. I think it's one of the best ones we've seen on the shorter term time frames. Longer
Yeah.
term, like you said, it gets into a trend and it just trends. So that's the beauty of the currencies. You can pick whatever strategy you feel the best about. You want to do a trend following strategy. The daily is a really good one for the Euro USD.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good trend following market. So another good trend following market historically has been Bitcoin.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Very much so. In fact, I've said it so many times that I like it on a breakout, which is almost exclusively, if you're trading breakouts long to the upside and short to the downside, you're trend following, and that's the way I have said it. I believe is by far the best way to do it on the daily time frame. But as it becomes more mature, maybe it's also going to become a good candidate for mean reversions, particularly on the intraday.
Yep. Well, let's give it a shot and see how we do with this.
Right.
What's your back test so far? What kind of win rate are we getting with this?
So, well, in the small sample that I'm showing here today, we've only got 29 trades, but it's showing what we expect, what we've seen quite a bit, between that 60 and 70%, showing 69% at the moment.
Right? Yeah.
Cost of trading Bitcoin is very high, so it's probably not going to work on the 1 minute time frame. You're probably going to have
Right.
to, if you want to trade this particular strategy, choose a slightly larger time frame, higher time frame, 15, 30, maybe even the 1 hour.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Because you have a larger spread there than you do in some other markets.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the euro US dollar. So cheap to trade. Excuse me. Bid ask spread is very low, especially if you're trading intraday and you're not having to worry about financing, overnight financing. It's a very, very cheap market to trade.
Yep. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Bitcoin's exciting though. It's a real emotional trader.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it's. Let's have a quick look at what's moving today. So we've done this before, and I'm highlighting the MetaTrader 5 platform, and this is how we access, first of all, the live prices, and secondly, this is how we take our trades. So MT5, been around for at least a decade, I think maybe longer, and it's got a really nice API which we're hooking into. So we are doing all our analysis in Excel, everything you can see in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. Let's have a quick look at this, the model. Everything on here is controlling the trading strategy, technical indicators, entry conditions, trades open and closing, and then everything, all the trade recording, and the price is coming from MT5. So we have both of them open simultaneously, and one of the neat things on MT5 is we can choose a group of different markets, and we can very quickly, cheap and cheerful, organize them on a daily basis from strongest daily performer to weakest. Crude oil doing well today.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. That one I don't want it to do well.
no, so that's
Down,
coming
down,
back a bit.
down.
I don't know why I've got the uranium ETF on there, but that always seems to be either the top or the bottom. So that's interesting. I'm not sure how many people are trading that. Euro GBP at the bottom there, suggesting Japanese yen is getting a bit stronger. Let's have a look. Put it on the screen there. Okay. Not really doing a huge amount, but there we go. Copper. I read something about copper today saying that we're going to have a bit of a shortage, but that's not been reflected in today's price. And I obviously hadn't read that article. Or the article's a few days out of date. Yeah, so there we go. Pretty much copper slap bang in the middle of that range, isn't it? Between these highs back in the start of 2002 and the lows towards the middle. But we are trading one of the top performers of the day, Bitcoin. Let's go back to Bitcoin, up slightly on the day, and it's gone back into the range.
Yeah.
We like currencies, particularly Euro USD, but we also like the stock market, which is going to open soon, the Nasdaq and the S&P. We haven't shown them recently, but I think we're going to go back to them. In fact, before I saw Bitcoin, that was my initial idea again. I wanted to have a look to see if we get our Tuesday turnaround and we get a bit of a boost for the indexes.
My suspicion is we will. I don't know what's going to happen today, but just because we've had like S&P is kind of range bound right now. It's got this large range it's been working in for months. It just keeps going back up into the 4150 range, then back down into below 4,000 and back up again. So it's just kind of slowly meandering in a large trading range, I think. It hasn't been a real trender lately.
Yeah.
You get, short trends, and then it bounces back down into the range again. So, yeah, we'll see. But I would say today will be a good possibility of a nice rally for Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, anytime we see NASDAQ above the S&P, I think we can say risk on, at least to some degree. The NASDAQ, the NASDAQ S&P ratio that I track is above zero currently, and it was below zero for most of 2022 and a good part of the start of January as well. So that has reversed. So it could be an interesting one again. I've been looking at, I was telling you briefly before we came on to this live stream about, I've been doing some work on trends. I've been looking on the daily time frame, but I think it's good to have that overview, and we're going to be talking about it more in future weeks, but we can apply the daily time frame to the intraday time frame because it's Excel, because we can use the model to track and trade in detail the intraday time frame, but we can also take an overview and identify the trend that we want to take as well. So I've been doing some work, and once again, out of everything that I've tested so far, NASDAQ, or more specifically QQQ ETF, has been pretty much the strongest trender over the past 2 decades.
Yep. And so what have you found, Mark, when it comes to looking at using that as a filter, essentially?
Yeah, basically exactly that. Yeah, I've been just going back to simple daily trend identifier. I'm using a long-term 200 period EMA to identify the trend, and just seeing which markets respond to that that EMA the best, that moving average the best. So if we say that is a good proxy for the long-term trend, you could split hairs and argue that there's other ways to measure it. I'm sure there are. But if we say that is as good as anything, then things like the Qs, also XLK, in fact, XLU as well. I've got a theory about all of these, particularly the Qs is tech-dominated. XLU, XLI did quite well as well. These are the industry-specific sectors, and all of the elements, all of the stocks within this industry have a tendency to move in concert with one another. If one goes up 2%, another might be up 3% or 1%. but they all tend to move in similar directions.
Right.
Whereas with the S&P, as good a trender as it is on the long term, on the slightly shorter, the intra-week time frames, it meanders a bit more because there's so many different elements in it.
Right. Well, there's a lot of industries. Yeah.
Yeah, so I found what I've been doing is been taking that trending. I've been finding the Qs have done well, XLK, XLU, utilities, industry, and I can't remember what the oil one is called, but the one that tracks the oil extractors as well has also had good trends.
Yep. Yeah. So they're all trending. Yeah.
So
That's good. So
it's potentially good to be trading them to the long side when it's above as the EMA. As simple as that. I have been looking at specific entries and exits and trying to time it nicely, but the broad principle is that the Qs has been the best trender, and hopefully it will continue to be so.
yep. Hopefully it will. And have you noticed your win rate is better using that filter versus not using it?
At the moment, I'm only testing on the daily time frame, so I haven't tried it on the intraday time frames. This is something we're going to be introducing and demonstrating on our live streams very soon. So I can't wait to do that.
Looking forward to it. Yep.
Yeah, it's just a way of, we've been talking about it for a while, showing the flexibility of the system. So let's have a quick look at the Unity Excel trading model. And I'm going to, if you're here and watching this live, feel free to put any comments in the chat box or just say hi. So let's have a look at the model. So this is the Unity Excel trading model. Everything is in Excel, so you can use it just like an Excel spreadsheet. And although it is live trading, I'm just demonstrating it here, and you can see as I adjust the built-in profit target, the capital graph over here on the right changes in real time as I change the profit target over here. And you get updated results. Now, for changing it, of course, you would do this normally when you're either back testing or preparing your strategy for the day. We can put in a stop loss, or we can widen it like that. So we talked about the strategy last week, but let's quickly sum it up again. We're using price channels, Donchian bands. So we've got 25 period Donchian bands. You could also see on MT5, and we're looking for them basically to hit the bands, to pierce the bands, but then to retrace back inside. So this is what we're hoping to get for this strategy, and we're getting the mean reversions like that. We've also got an RSI filter.
Have you found with the Bitcoin, what is the best channel size that you're using? What was the optimization that you found worked best with this cryptocurrency?
I found that right before we came on air, I had it on about 40. So I'm looking at average trade size here, and I had the close a bit higher as well, and I was getting an average trade size. Yeah, it's about 8 there, but what I wanted to do was try and get more trades, so I've just reduced it a bit. So we should be, this just simply means that the bands are narrower, and I used our time close, and that is simply meaning that the trade will close after a fixed number of bars. So if it's set to 25, we're on the 1 minute time frame. That will mean the trade will be open for 15 minutes, and then it will close, and that will be done automatically by the trading model. I could set that to 10 or 5.
Yep.
Very easily. I could set it to 300 as well. And we can see how it affects the strategy results. So the reason I set it to 15 and the reason I moved it down to 25 was just so we could see some trades. Hopefully we will see some trades in our live stream, but if I was to push it out to 50, 60, what I would or even 80, what we can see here actually is the average trade size is getting larger. This net profit here measured in terms of points is a crude way of measuring how it's performing, but we can see that the strategy is sticking pretty close to the linear regression line, which is sloping upwards.
Yep.
In fact, at the moment, it almost seems like the larger the bars, the better the strategy performs. I'm sure there'll be an upper limit to that, not least because we can't really go above 200. Yeah, we're getting fewer trades. So I mean, you could say we could use 120. So let me explain that, and I'll put the MT5 back on there. What I'm demonstrating there is 120. If you're used to price channels, these Donchian bands, putting a value of 120 in there would show you what we're looking at. We're not, in fact, there we go, just going right below that. So there we go. That would be a potential price signal there as we go below the band there. You can see the bands are much, much wider, and we should be getting more significant bounces from them.
Right. I've noticed that when you're going for the bigger bounces, you get the bigger, your profit is better as well.
What setting are you using, Ren, for your
I'm actually doing on my 30-minute. I'd have to go look at it, but where did I leave the 30 minutes? And that could also be a factor in why I wasn't performing quite as well. But I tightened my band up a little bit because I was not getting a lot of trades. So
this is the eternal thing, isn't it? We want more trades, but we want better quality trades, and often it's a trade-off between the two. So you can see the difference there.
So I reduced my bands all the way down to 10 to force it to get some more trades because I wasn't getting enough trades. In fact, I didn't get any trades yesterday at all. So I reduced it just recently to 10 to see if I could get some more trades and see, because I've noticed mostly the win rate on this particular strategy comes right in 60 to 70%, somewhere in that zone, no matter what I do. So I was like, well, I'll just get some more trades and get some more action, because I was in the market less than 50%. And I wanted to see if I could get something to, just get some activity. But generally speaking, I was running around 40 the last couple of weeks on the 5-minute, I was running 40 on my channel, which I think that is kind of like where I've been for a long time since we introduced that strategy. Yeah. So I don't know, is that about where you usually kind of start off?
Yeah, I mean, that seems to be almost about the median level for the bands. Yeah, somewhere around 40. Yeah, 10. It's going to be a smaller, a tighter band, so there will be more trades. But as we said, it's always a trade-off between a greater number of trades and better quality as well.
Yeah, so the quality might not be as good, but I figured with the win rate of like 60 to 70, I just need to get some more trades, because I was like, last week we got very few trades and they were just mostly losers. So I was like, my 30-minute experiment's not going well.
Yeah, and then it gets frustrating. You almost need to leave it a month, because the time frame is 5 times or whatever, 6 times bigger than what you were trading before, and you'd say a week would be a good sample size. You need to be trading it a month without changing it, and then come to some conclusions.
Yeah, since my average win was about $600 at the 30-minute, and so I was like, well, I just need to get a couple wins here. I'll be back where I started from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard, and that's part of the emotional part of trading too. Even with the automation running, it's still the temptation to tweak it when things aren't going well. For me, is almost it's impossible. But I do my best, So right now, I was just hoping to get a couple trades and then see how they play out, and then go back to the 40, which is about where I'm usually just defaulting with the 40 on the channel.
Yeah. I mean, you raise a really good point there about the temptation to tweak it. But one thing, unless you change the strategy completely, there's to change the band, the price channel band size is a pretty minor tweak. If you're trading manually, most people, I'm sure both of us can be included in this group, might think, I'm going to change the strategy completely based on 1 or 2 trades, or some article I've read, or what the chart looks like today, or some pattern or something that I can just about see. Whereas with algo trading, with the trading that we're demonstrating here today, yes, you can make small changes. which may or may not improve the strategy, but they're pretty minor. And all you're doing is making an educated guess about how to slightly improve the strategy rather than ripping it up and throwing it in the bin.
Yes, yes, and the reason why I did make that decision is because I think the S&P was much more volatile over the last year than it has been most recently. So
Yeah.
recently, it's kind of just like I said, been in that trading range and just going up and down a little. So I think that's why I decided to tighten it up because I'm like, well, I
Mm,
need to get some more trades. So and so I can report back some good news.
yeah.
But yeah.
There's other types of bands, isn't there? I use price channel bands so much, but Bollinger
Hmm.
bands are massively popular and rightly so. There's
Yes.
another type of bands that is quite similar to Bollinger's using the ATR as a as
Yep,
an offset factor. You can use
absolutely.
those as well. So there's no reason it has to be price channel, and they may react. Bollinger's will clearly react if the S&P gets, narrows in a bit, if it gets stuck in
Yeah.
a range, and so will the ATR as well. So, I mean, there's other ways to do this strategy, and we could test it out. We could try it out for next week and
Yeah.
see what they think. This all mean reversion.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the Bollinger Bands are kind of nice in some ways because they do auto adjust for
Mm.
volatility. So when you get less volatility, the bands can, they come and condense on themselves. And so then you will get more trades, kind of like what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of taking the channels and adjusting it for the volatility is what I was, that's kind of what I imagined I was doing, as I'm tweaking it. So I'm
Exactly.
kind of doing what the Bollinger Band would be doing. It would be compressing, and as we get more volatile, the Bollinger Bands they kind of auto expand. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what Sometimes you have to think like that too.
Okay, I'm going to give you my analogy here. This is
Okay.
like, I think I've said something like this before, but basically, you're being the coach on the
Yeah.
sidelines and you're reacting to the game. You're not being the coach chucking your clipboard down and running onto the pitch and starting to play, are you? And starting to
Right.
throw the football or whatever. You're
That's a
you're taking an overview and taking control like that. And people may have different opinions about whether that's good or not. And I'm sure you've probably got some different opinions about whether it's good or not. But it's
yeah.
within that context. You're still allowing the spreadsheet, the model,
Yep.
and the strategy to run.
100%. Yeah. I'm just trying to give it a little push in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Um, but there we go. We've got to take an overview sometimes. So we can choose directions as well. With this strategy, I think pretty sure. Yeah, I'm allowing long and short trades. In fact, both are performing equally well despite the upward trend over this short period of time. On the 1 minute time frame, both long and short trades are performing well. Slightly higher percentage of winning trades for the shorts. In fact, which is interesting considering it's trended upwards, as I just said. But both of them are performing well. But there's no reason why we couldn't trade directionally, choose a direction, and only take trades in that direction.
That's true. Yeah, I especially do that when we're working with the trend strategies. I absolutely do go in there, and if I notice that the trend is changing, then I will only trade long or short, depending.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the trend change is always the biggest thing for any trend following strategy, and for a mean reversion strategy like this, and the trend starting can be
Yep.
just as big as disruption. So there's always going to be one of those things. The market flips from one mode to another.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are the toughest times to trade too. And that's what I really like about this particular strategy, mean reverting strategies. I don't have to worry about the trend so much.
Mm. Exactly, yeah, exactly. But I am going to do some testing, get my trend,
Mhm.
my larger time frame trend analysis, and apply it to the shorter time frames that we're testing today, and see what advantage we can get from that. So we're going to wrap this up pretty soon, Ren. Anybody who's watching live, please ask us any questions. Pop them in the chat box now. So we're going to finish in a couple of minutes. Do you have any final thoughts? This model, the Unity Excel training model, is available. If you want more information about that, you can find it below this video. You can click on the link, get on the email list, and find all about how you can get this, and you can be trading your own algo strategies today. can be testing them. You can get a free demo of the model. You can test MT5 for free, and you can be doing all this. Any final thoughts from you today, Ren?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure. I was thinking about the Bollinger Bands, actually. I was thinking maybe I'll give that a shot and do some back testing with that this week and see how it performs versus the channel, my channel adjustments, and see if the Bollinger Bands auto adjustments do better. So maybe I'll play around with that this week.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Interested to see that. My feeling is that they will perform. My feeling is that more people are watching price levels, which gosh, price levels which you can see in the Donchian, the price channel bands, than they are watching the Bollinger bands. But I don't know, and so I'll be interested to see which performs better. Whether it's possible to do a straight off comparison between the two, and like we said before, you could choose both, and you can have both in the model, and you could use whatever is applicable for the time frame, for the market conditions. You could flick between price channels, mean reversions, and Bollinger Band mean reversions.
Yeah, and I have some ideas on it. I was thinking maybe use the Bollinger Band to calculate the width of the channel, and kind of just auto adjust that channel, because that's kind of what I've been doing on my own, is kind of like tweaking it a little bit here and there, and the Bollinger Band be like a structured way to do that, and see if it improves my win rate at all.
Okay, well, I'll be fascinated to hear how you get on with that.
Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do this week.
Great. Well, report back to us next week. Looking forward to it.
Do.
Okay, we're going to end our live stream today, and we've had a good one. I think we're still pointing upwards. We've been testing on Bitcoin, and next week we'll maybe choose another different market. We'll go back to Euro USD, our favorite, and hopefully we'll have some interesting news from Ren to report back, or some news anyway, about his Bollinger Band experiments. So thanks, Ren, for being here today.
Yep. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. And I hope you do well on Turnaround Tuesday. It looks like that's coming around for us now.
It does, doesn't it?
The markets are coming back. Yep.
Yeah. Once again, what's NASDAQ doing? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's, we've opened. We missed the open actually, didn't we? But
yes.
Yeah, we're doing okay.
Yep. We're coming up. So slowly but surely.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, good to speak to you, and we will be doing another one of these. Thank you, anybody that has been watching us on the live stream, and we look forward to doing another one soon.
Yep, thanks, Mark.